Hey guys, how's it going? I had to record something. I have to talk. I have to be heard. And I'm in a small town. I'm alone. It's interesting how much you feel like you need people or need to do something. I mean, I might do some activities maybe that would take up my mind, but it's cold out. It's still cold out. It's getting towards the end of April, but I live in Wisconsin, so that's how that goes. If you didn't know, my state is often colder than Alaska. On average, is actually colder than parts of Alaska. So, I don't like the cold. I don't like being super hot either. I'm not one of these, oh, I prefer this or this. I don't like either extreme. But I definitely prefer it being really hot than really cold if I can just be near a pool or a body of water, preferably a pool. Go swimming. It's fun. Can hang out outside. Exercise. It's often beautiful. Usually pools aren't in dumpy places, but even if it was, it's still fun. Here, though, I suppose you can have an indoor pool, which I did know a few very wealthy people that had an indoor pool. But it's not the same. It's definitely better being outside. And that sounds great. That sounds like a place to live. A warm place with a pool outside. It's interesting that they have pools near the ocean, like on the beach, because it seems redundant or kind of ridiculous, but it really makes sense to me for a couple of reasons. It's a little easier to do laps without a bunch of waves hitting you if you just want to focus on that. But more so, the ocean's just filled with a bunch of stuff, like often gross stuff, all the ocean animals go to the bathroom in it, and the birds. And the pool, I suppose they can go to the bathroom in there too, but usually has something to kill any of the bacteria and whatnot, and they're usually very clear, so there's nothing going to be attacking you from the bottom. So that's cool, a plus. I like that. And yeah, you can kind of just stay stationary without getting bombarded with waves, which can be really fun. I love that too. But sometimes you just want to chill, and you could even eat something near the pool if you wanted, or in the pool. So yeah. I do like mountains too, though, which is why I really like Rio de Janeiro. Has beautiful mountain landscapes right on the beach. So I think it would be considered one of the best cities in the world, like rivaling Paris, if it were just cleaner and safer. If you look up pictures or videos of Rio de Janeiro about 100 years ago, it looks pretty much as good as a city can be. Of course, that's subjective, but I thought it looked really, really nice. Not messing with I don't know how bright it should be. It's interesting how it's a good thing that not all of the best land is in countries with bad governments, because that would be a true conundrum. You know, would you want to take the risk of being imprisoned for your free speech, or for just anything? Some governments don't really have much of respect for the rule of law, or they kind of change them at will. I don't love the idea of hanging out in those countries a lot. So if they had all the good land, good places to hang out, yeah, I don't know. I think I wouldn't go. Maybe certain circumstances or something. But it's an interesting thing that how much more expensive some decent properties are in America compared to other countries, and it's just astronomically different. So, for example, you might get I know someone, not personally, but someone who knows someone who knows someone that got a property on the beach in San Diego, but it wasn't. I don't really like a beach property where it's not even really on the beach. It's kind of on a cliff that's a bit of a ways from the beach and the water. I like it when it's on the same level. You can look out. It's right there. You know, maybe if it's up a little bit. But to me, if you're way up, it can be super nice. Don't get me wrong. But I'd rather be able to walk out and just go right on the beach, as opposed to like climbing down something. It's just my preference. If someone gave me a property that was up high, for sure I wouldn't complain. It's just a for paying a ton of money, I would want to have it the way I prefer it to be, you know. So anyway, he got this guy got this property. I think it was $6 million, and you could get a better property, arguably, in a place South or Central America for $500,000, maybe $250,000. I don't even know. These are just some things that I've seen, so maybe even less. Maybe $100,000. I don't know. But I have seen things like that's a lot of money itself, but it pales in comparison to $6 million. I mean, if you got something for, I think you could find something for $300,000 that'd be quite nice. I've seen stuff like that in that price range. That's 5% of $6 million. And to go with that, stuff in the area is going to be cheaper. Your taxes are going to be less. So if you wanted to upgrade the property, there's probably also less regulation. The biggest thing is probably safety, but I mean, you could pay for a guard, and it would be a drop in the bucket still compared to, especially in countries where the income is not very high. You could probably pay for a couple guards. You know, if you're giving them $10,000 a piece, in some countries that's a lot annually. you'd be set for life. You could pay them for life, and you still wouldn't get up to the price that you would have paid for in San Diego. Let's say at least yeah, probably for life, at least a good 20-30 years. It's maybe how long you'll use a face. Anyway, or just to get a security system or something, you know. But people, maybe they, you know, a lot of people work in America, and then they like America. There's stuff you can get more easily, and you know, if you're born and raised in a place, so I understand the reason for those properties being more expensive. Certainly, I don't care about that much stuff, though. That sort of thing. But I don't have any of those properties. I don't have any, so it doesn't really matter either way. And I don't have the money for those things anyway. So, but it seems as an attainable thing, in that I can get the same benefit for, you know, not some insane price tag. So that'd be cool. Anywho. I always thought that the best careers were certainly things in entertainment, because entertainment is almost by definition, supposed to be fun. And even if it's kind of, even if you're doing something that's not exactly like, if you're doing a dance, if you're practicing a dance over and over, it can be extremely difficult and extremely exhausting. Seriously. But that still seems much better and more fun to me than reviewing a quarterly report, or doing some sort of calculations. I mean, to me it's night and day. Which one seems better? And that's the thing. Is a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people would prefer to do that. And there's not enough people who would prefer to do, you know, everything else compared to the people who would want to do entertainment. There's so much competition for those jobs, and also there's not like an insane amount of money poured into entertainment. If you think about something like movies, the biggest movie ever made the most money, I believe, was Avatar. And Avatar made it over $1 billion, I believe. It might not be the biggest ever, but it's certainly one of the biggest ever in terms of how much money it made. Now that sounds like an insane amount of money, and it pretty much is, but there's a massive amount. I don't know how much went for Avatar, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 100 million or a couple $100 million going in advertising. It's astronomical, the price of advertising. And then the production itself, I have no idea how much that cost, but I would guess a couple $100 million also. And so that puts you at already 500 million, which again, that's a ton of money. But if you compare that to the amount of profit that, let's say, Walmart makes in a year, or Apple, I think it's quite little. Now that's one movie in terms of a big company. So they could have made, more money from other things. But that's also the best example I'm giving. A lot of movies lose money. So it could have been in that year that they had made a bunch of other movies, and maybe some of them made some money, some broke even, some lost some money, and so overall the profit might come down to, I don't know, 400 million, 300 million. And that profit gets divided up so many ways. There's not much left. And, that could be reformed, and that might help the industry, but people don't often want to reform that. And since you're going into a production not even knowing if it's going to make any money, and often it doesn't make money or loses money, it's such a risk, and there's so many people that want to do the risk. That competition is so insanely high. It seems so weird to me that the world is that way. It makes me think, it seems like a cruel joke, Why some people, there's this director, Judd Apatow, who his children, he put them in his movies, and so they started acting. Now they just get acting roles just because. And you can say, oh, no, not everybody can act. That's true. But it's not that hard. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. It's not going through dental school, right? Anybody can act. And some people, I shouldn't say that. Most people can act. And because that's what they're doing all the time. You're always acting, even if you're not thinking about it. You're doing something. You're doing an act. You might have to augment it a little, make some changes to make it interesting and palatable for an audience, but it's not really that difficult. Can we be honest? Now, if you just handed somebody a script, you said, here, do this, they'd probably do a bad job, but that's just because they haven't done it at all. But it's the same thing with singing. Most people think that they can't sing or they're embarrassed. But if you get a few lessons, it's not that hard to become a decent singer. It's really not. Most people just don't know how to do it because they weren't told or they haven't practiced. It's like ice skating. If you get out on the ice, you're going to think you suck. But if you've done it quite a bit, you're fine. So anyway, my point was just that I've thought about, I don't know, the amount of hours that I've put in towards thinking of ways to get into entertainment to some degree. Not even to some degree, but the little entertainment part, not like being on a stage or being in front of a camera. The amount of hours I put in is probably equal to, I don't know, 3 years would make sense. And I'm saying day and night, constant, 24/7. Still haven't gotten anything to work out though. So maybe that's a sign from God. But maybe I need to keep looking. I don't know. I like talking. I like giving speeches. I like being heard. I like entertaining. I like doing fun things. I like dancing. I like singing. I like acting. I like all these things. But you have to wow people. And I don't have any doubt, literally no doubt, that if I was put in the right position, I was given, a great music producer and dance, a choreographer, and a lot of promotion, and got some hit songs, I would have a great career. I really don't have any doubt about that, even though I suppose I could be wrong, and people may roll their eyes. I have such passion for it that I think if I had those things, I would do well. Here's the thing with my life is I was so afraid to express myself because I was so afraid of being made fun of, because I felt that I didn't feel comfortable as myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't feel loved. So I lived in fear all the time. So I wouldn't want to put myself out there, even if I felt like acting or singing or dancing or doing whatever, even making YouTube videos, doing like stand-up comedy or something. I was afraid to just be myself. And so I would see other people be successful, sometimes younger than me, and I would get mad, and I would, think they were lame or make fun of them and criticize, and it was out of fear. Most criticism, I don't know most, but a lot of criticism comes out of fear and jealousy. And I'm glad I'm not like that anymore. I don't think so. I think, though, that it would have been much more beneficial much earlier in my life. I could have done a lot more and a lot more fun things if I would have overcome that earlier. And youth can be a big advantage if you're, I was there. I remember the early days of YouTube. Sometimes they would get hacked and people would put their videos up to the most viewed. They used to have a page where you can look at the most viewed videos, either of all time or that year, that month, whatever, that day. I think that was the front page, like the most viewed videos. And then they changed it to like algorithms and stuff now. People were pretty upset when that happened. But anyway, even before that, there was also a page you could go to, like newest videos. So there would just be a ton of videos that were just uploaded. And anyway, I saw Justin Bieber. There's like other people kind of making singing videos, but his were getting more and more popular. And then I remember the day he put out, where's that first song now? One time. Girl, I love you. I think it's called One Time. Yeah, I think it's One Time. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is massive. This is like huge. It's gonna be huge. Another thing, I thought that it wasn't possible. It's interesting, if you don't see something, you kind of think like then you think that something might not be a possibility. Maybe not everybody, but that's kind of how this is how I thought in my mind. I thought that white people couldn't be in that sort of like R&B-ish scene. Like they couldn't be like a young white R&B singer. I thought it just wasn't possible. Like that they wouldn't make that. They wouldn't promote that. That you couldn't get a record deal with that. I thought you had to be like a young black kid or else like, I guess I don't know how old NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were. I thought you had to be at least their age to get something, to get some sort of contract, music contract, and career. So it was mind blowing for me that something that I thought I didn't think was possible, and something that I would have loved to do, but I was so afraid to try. I remember putting out some videos and like getting a pretty good amount of views at the time, but since it wasn't like millions right away, I was just like, oh, I'll stop. That wasn't right away. That was like after a little while I got the courage up to put something on the internet. And I try to not think of these things anymore and regret and the past, and I got screwed. There's mental illness in my family is pretty widespread, and you don't know that when you're in it, especially as a kid. You think that's normal. You think whatever's going on is normal, but it wasn't normal. So I need to not beat myself up, because I was raised in fear, and there's no fear in love, and I'm trying to be loving and live in love and peace and be content. I'm doing much, much better than the vast majority of the world. In terms of I have a place to sleep, I have decent food to eat, decent air. So that's really nice. Hallelujah. I'm kind of not sure what to do for fun, because I thought that would be my fun career. Touring, making music, traveling, performing, exploring. I don't know. I can try. I can keep trying. But one thing I found with the music industry is it's more of a popularity contest, and then getting people to know the music that you make. Unless you're one of the best producers in the world, like you make really great music, you need a ton of promotion behind you. So there's very, very few people that come up just because of the song. I can think of a decent amount of examples, but that's over 15 years. I think I can only think of 3, and the rest have been promoted. No, I can think of more than that. That's not true. But it's really hard to be just talented and to have really good songs. And I think even the people who did come up on their own as independent and without a lot of promotion, they had some je ne sais quoi, something about them. Because I'll show songs to people pretty frequently, and they'll go, "Oh, that's dumb," or like, "I don't like that." Like, this has happened a lot over my life. And then it becomes a massive hit, and then they're all into it, you know? So just because you have a good song doesn't mean people will necessarily react unless they keep hearing it. It's bizarre, but it's true. Even one of the best producers in the world, I heard him say that he doesn't judge a song until he's heard it 3 times. Which is weird because I think the songs that I like the most are the ones that I heard, and right away I was like, "Oh, I gotta hear that again." You know? I thought that way about "Stay" with the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. Anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to figure the things out, life and whatnot. So, yeah, thanks for watching. If you would like and comment and subscribe, that'd be cool. If anyone ever watches this, very long, but God bless you. Take care. Have a good one. Love you.